Paul Anastasio here. Welcome to the never-ending parade of Western Swing instructional videos here on YouTube. We're going to take a tune called I Can't Go On This Way that the Bob Wills Band performed. And I'm going to talk about some of the things that you can do. One of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to move chromatically from one chord tone to the next. The melody goes... I'm going to move chromatically. A funny story about that, Johnny Gimble's son Dick was at our house when my wife and I lived in the Seattle area. And we were talking about scales and this kind of thing, and I was saying something about the chromatic scale, and he misheard me and thought I said the traumatic scale. So from now on, that's what it is. It is a little traumatic. I'll have a sheet music where you can see how I like to finger that scale. The orchestra director, Barton Frank, when I was going to school up in Bellingham, Washington, years and years and years ago, he said that this is the most important scale that you can play. Well, it's every note on the piano keyboard, white and black. And I saw him much later. He was teaching folks, and he'd long since retired from teaching. And we got a get together of some of the folks. Some of the the white sheep in the family went on to be concert mistress of the Houston Ballet Orchestra and play in the Seattle Symphony, and me, I just kind of scuffled around. But I reminded him that he had said the chromatic scale is the most important scale that you can play. And he said, yeah, and the thing is, there's only one of them. So let's turn it on, and I'm going to move from a chord tone to another chord tone using the chromatic scale. And I'll probably use some of this swingy offbeat Venuti bowing that you've seen me use. And who knows what else I'll play.
160 BPMs.
Okay.
Okay. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Chromatic, lower, neighboring tone. So that's a cute little tune, lots of chords. And as I've mentioned on other videos, two things I want to know: what chord is being played? C is the first chord, so I better know that fifth, root, third, fifth, root, third, fifth. Now, I don't have to just play those notes. In fact, if that's all I did, it would be a boring solo. G7, F, C. boring, but those are the notes that I build my solo on. I can go chromatically. I can move by using a neighboring tone. Generally, they'll use upper neighboring tones that are diatonic or drawn from the scale. And generally, they'll use lower neighbors that are chromatic or traumatic, if you want to use Dick Gimble's misinterpretation. So, the trick Johnny Gimble used an awful lot is to clip. He plays 4/8 notes, and then he's gone, but then the beat hits. So it kind of swings. There's a lot of little syncopations you can put. Like, for example, and I'm driving it and pushing it, and we'll talk in some other videos that I'm a big fan of the Russian grip that Jascha Heifetz used, that Joe Venuti used, that Johnny Gimble used, that Juan Reynoso used. It allows you to get a lot of flexibility in your wrist. But just mentioning it, I can. It's almost like there's a giant guitar pick glued on the back of my wrist, and I can go twang and twang and twang and twang and twang. And if you watch how good way to see if you've got wrist flexibility is to do some spiccato. But we'll talk about that more in some other videos. In the meantime, just work on these tunes and run your chord tones, and I'll see you next video.